Well, welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and as you can see, we're back at Ian Tyrrell's workshop when there's lots of lovely cars to look round. Much as I would like to get distracted over there, I'm really keen to see what Ian's been up to with the Countach. There's been a lot happening since we were last here. I think the last time we were here, we were extracting the engine of that enormous sort of ex-Navy sort of engine hoist or whatever. Came out vertically, never seen anything like it. Since then, the engine's all been cleaned and the gearbox has gone off and has been stripped. And I'm told it's over there and I know nothing. I've sworn Ian to secrecy. I have no idea what is in the gearbox and what fault it is. So let's go and see what's been going on. Ian, hello.
Hello.
Well,
hello.
What? Everything's been going on since I was last here.
Yes, we've been pretty busy with it, really.
Yeah.
It's obviously had the dry ice blasting.
Well, you did. This is fantastic because you had a guy contact you via Instagram or something.
That's right.
Yeah. And he says, "Could I possibly?" Yeah.
Yeah. And he came all the way from Bristol.
And it's this dry ice, this new technique which I don't really know much about, so I'd never.
Well, me neither. No, it works. It works very well because it's quite a rough casting. This
right.
It's not like Mura's or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's a more rough casting, so it's much more difficult to get clean. But he's done a really good job of it. Yeah. So it's got a grain to it.
Yeah.
Very
it's
fine.
not machined at all, is it? No. Sandcast, that's the thing you like on old motorbikes, because it was the original first versions were sandcast, weren't they?
Sandcast SUs and Webers.
Yeah,
people
were they?
Oh,
were they?
Yes.
Well, but unfortunately not. And you were saying, I noticed this was an issue. This has uncovered previous bit of history.
Yes, I think that's had a bit of a repair on there. Just
right.
something, I'm suspecting, because it's in line with the flywheel, I think something has got, maybe a bolt head or something, has got jammed between the bell housing and the flywheel and just let go a little bit.
Good Lord. Because it's just put a hole there, because that hasn't cracked through by the look of it, is it? Just
but
something.
This is right in the line of fire behind the flywheel here.
God, that was not unpleasant.
Not the first time I've seen this.
Right.
Seen it on Daytona. Some real offshore repairs done on clutch bell housings over the years, but yeah.
Well, that won't be happening here, obviously.
No, absolutely not. No.
And it's I mean, I'm pretty impressed how clean it is. It just took a little bit of paint there, isn't there?
Yes. Well, that was actually
corrosion.
That was like that before. So.
Yeah, it did in here as well. We can't really see. I'll drop that in, but it is cleaned up under there as well, isn't it? All the pipes, which is really good. Now, but I know we want to go over to see the gearbox, which is sort of over there, isn't it? And I haven't seen it.
Yes.
But engine, we did the leak down test.
We did. Yes.
Can you reveal the results of the leak down test?
In reverse order.
Yes.
Miss cylinder number 1. That's terribly un-PC now, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, well, there's 12 pots on this, so there's bound to be something going on.
Okay, well, I'll give you the good news first.
We like that. Yes.
The good news. So
that always means there's some bad news. That's the only time we're getting the good news first.
Ooh. Okay, so what we do with leak down test is put each cylinder at top dead centre. Yeah. It's more accurate than a compression test.
Right.
And we introduce compressed air into the cylinder. Yeah. And if it leaks out anywhere, then we know we've got a problem.
Right.
And it actually tells us on the gauge how much percent it's leaking out as well.
Right.
Good news is the piston rings, it's not leaking past at all.
Okay.
So the bottom end is fine. You know what's coming now.
The butts, yes.
Valves.
Right.
We do have a problem with.
Oh.
Cylinder number 2, it's got 46% leakage on the exhaust,
right,
and 41% leakage on the inlet, which means you can actually hear the air coming out of both the inlet and exhaust ports, and that's valve seating, plain and simple.
Oh, right. Which means the heads ought to come off.
Yeah, it does.
And so then you're stripping, what we're doing, we're taking the cams out, you're taking the valves out, and then you're reseating the valves, putting new valves in?
Depending what we find.
Right.
I mean, if they will just grind in.
Yeah.
It could even be tight tappets.
Right.
Which isn't allowing the valves to seat properly.
Which way do tappets go, though? Do they...
I mean, normally the valve clearance actually increases with a bit of wear on the cam lobe or whatever.
Yeah.
But if the valve is receding into the head, it's going to tighten the tappet clearance. Right,
and that's where potentially. So we're going a little bit deeper in this engine. but I sort of expected that might happen, but I'm very glad that we're not going right down through the bottom end, because it's got plenty of oil pressure, no cooling issues, no nothing. But yeah, leak down tests is,
exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's
well, it's such fun taking the engine out of them anyway, isn't it? So if we had to do it in a few years' time, I know where to come. I know how to do it. Actually, I've just got to buy one of those off eBay.
Yeah, they're not available at every DIY store.
No, they're not. No. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that's pretty heavy duty, 46% loss.
That is huge. That piston is not doing, well, that cylinder's not producing a lot of power, is
Precisely.
it? Yeah.
Yes.
And that might explain why it was particularly keen on popping and banging through the exhaust, because that's coming through, isn't it,
Yes,
past the exhaust?
That would.
And it'll probably be burning the exhaust out a little bit as well, won't it?
Yeah.
The valve, as it were. Yeah.
Yeah. So it becomes a vicious circle at that point, as it were. So.
But I'm really chuffed with the cleaning,
it's
I
great,
have to say.
It?
It's just,
it is.
It's quite presentable. Yeah.
Well, it's a lovely bit of industrial sculpture, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, they are. They're very showy. So, yeah, you also had a look at the suspension. I wanted to have a look at those shocks and dampers.
Sure. Let me just pull this out of the way.
Right, because this looks clean under here as well, actually.
Yes, he did have he cleaned the engine compartment, which, nothing against him, it just didn't really yield the results that we would like. But
well, they are funny because it's all this glass fibre, isn't there? Here you have the lovely tubing, but it's a right old mix of materials. It's not.
Yes. Yeah. What happens is the heat from the exhaust manifolds takes the paint off the chassis.
Right.
So I would suggest, before we put the engine in, let's get the exhaust manifold ceramic coated.
I would like to do
keep the
that.
temperature inside down, basically.
And because they look cool as well.
Exactly.
Exactly. And they're all on show as well.
Yes.
Yeah. But under here, got these uprights, haven't we? And and all these strange rose jointy things as well.
Exactly, which Countachs have.
Yeah. That is looking.
It is looking better, isn't it?
Yeah. This is definitely looking much nicer. And there's two shocks at the back of here, but they're missing, so they've gone off.
They've gone off. Yeah.
Oh, terrific!
Yeah. But we have got the springs back, so we have got a few shiny bits.
And the gearbox.
Yes.
We actually ought to really have a look at that, shouldn't we?
Oh, do you think so?
I think so.
Really?
I want to know. I want to know if I'm going on holiday or have to cancel everything this year as I pay for a new gearbox. And
there's some good deals on the Costa del Sol, I believe, at the moment.
I don't think it'll be that. It'll be the Costa del North Wales at this rate. Yeah. Anyway, I'll just have a look. White table time again.
Yes.
God, that looks so good.
Well, there's your your springs.
That is nice, isn't it?
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, so good. Powder coating.
They never break these. You know, lots of modern cars, the springs break on them, but they're made out of cheap and nasty metal, frankly.
Right.
I mean, these last for decades.
Right.
I've never seen a spring on a Miura or an Espada or a Countach break.
They don't settle. They don't sort of change length a bit.
But you know, they're shimmed up.
Right. Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Well, that's all right then. And you've done, that's a sort of engine mount or something, isn't it?
This has been blasted and powder coated.
Brilliant.
We've got new bushes for that here.
Oh, okay.
And also, there's your exhaust mountings.
That if I ever want to go back to a standard exhaust,
exactly.
Well,
they were still on it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're always they're on it. They didn't look like that though at all.
No, well now it'll be even more conspicuous that you haven't got the standard exhaust on. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, moving on.
I want to look at gears.
Oh, that.
Yes. They all teeth seem to be present on first quick inspection. No. Am I looking at the wrong side?
Would you like? Would you like me to show you?
Yeah.
Something?
Have you found what's making the noise then?
Yes. In a nutshell.
Is it a number of things?
It is, actually.
Oh, damn. That was the wrong answer.
I mean, you've got to do things in style. You can't just have, I'm going to put these gloves on to make it look as though I know what I'm talking about.
Right. Well, it looks a lot better than that Saab gearbox I had that spat teeth out at the bottom.
Well, that's the first thing.
Right.
That is.
Oh gosh.
That comes.
Why is that so dry?
Well, exactly. I mean, if you look at that end, they don't particularly have oil on them.
Right.
But they shouldn't have a lot. But even so, that's
That's absolutely dry. Is that diff end or?
This is actually,
Oh, it's
no it isn't, it's the gearbox end.
Right.
It goes in, out of the bell housing, into the gearbox.
Gearbox that side.
And then it fits.
Oh, down there, down below there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that goes in there,
Yeah.
he says.
I believe you. Right.
We have got a bit of
Right.
a bit of all that going on, which is not great,
No.
considering it's got 455 brake horsepower or thereabouts. So we unfortunately need a new one of those.
A new one.
Yes.
Where do you get those? You have one made.
Yes. Well, we have got a choice. Lamborghini are getting quite good with some of this stuff.
Right.
But otherwise, I mean, we've got gear manufacturers that we use, but the pièce de la résistance.
Oh, it goes on. Right.
It does.
Oh,
That's chicken feed.
Oh no.
Right. You ready for this?
Yeah, that's quite a big gear as well. So on that shot, on this.
There you
oh
are.
God. Oh there. Right.
That was once like this.
Oh really? So
Yes.
that little dents there are not normally present.
Indeed. Yes.
So right.
So if I line that up perfectly as it would be,
Yeah.
you can see
That should be an interference fit, really. Just
it should be like this.
Yeah.
So you've yes. I mean, it's
Right.
pretty horrendous that actually, but you know, I mean, you could have driven it for. You know.
Yeah. There was still a bit of more meat to go.
Yeah,
but
I don't think you've been trying hard enough.
Oh, I have. Right, so that giant shaft is another giant shaft.
Yeah, but
needs
this
replacing.
gear also. Where are we? There you are.
Oh, that's a bit tired, isn't it?
It is. It's slightly past its prime, I would say.
Oh dear.
It's
Right.
the case hardening's gone.
Isn't that weird how that's just gone? If you just twizzle it and just see if the other gears, because they're fine, aren't they? They're
Yes.
all nice and shiny.
Yeah.
How weird's that?
So I mean, the noise has been a combination of.
Yeah.
While you close up,
Yeah,
you can see there's negligible radial play there, a tiny bit.
Yeah, and you slide it up to there, and then there's lots. Right. Gosh.
So it's gone through the hardening there. That's what's happened.
Yeah, that is a mess, isn't it? So that's two big shafts I'm ordering
Yes.
from Amazon or somewhere.
Again, available at your local yes DIY superstore. But I mean, other than that, it's pretty good. The synchro here, you know, you've obviously driven it sympathetically.
At all times. At all
Yes,
times.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's no rounding off of the synchro
Right.
times there. It's all pretty, you know, apart from you know, extreme wear on that shaft, it's not that bad.
What I can't get over is the size of the cogs. They're enormous, isn't
they
it?
are. They are. Yeah. Well, I mean, how many gearboxes in the 1980s had 450 brake horsepower going through them? Not many.
Well, the torque, I'm just looking at the size of these shafts. I mean, it's just not like a race gear, but, you know, as you know, I have a farming channel as well, Harry's Farm, if you'd like to watch it. But this almost is tractor grade size shafts.
Yes. Well,
that I've not seen on a car before, really.
Well, the other thing to bear in mind is its weight as well.
Right.
So it's not just the power, it's what the power's having to pull.
Right, okay.
That's why racing cars have, like a Hewland gearbox is tiny. But when you've got something like, you know, 1,500 kilos or whatever of a Countach and 450 brake horsepower, there's a lot of pressure on this, basically.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's not a Colin Chapman Lotus spec gearbox at all, looking at this.
No.
It's a completely different size.
Yes. No, but I mean, otherwise, everything looks all right. The rest of the gears are okay. You know, they'll live to fight another day.
An outside company makes the gear. Well, this has been to a gearbox specialist, hasn't it?
Well, we're asking Lamborghini if this. They tend to go through phases of having bits and not having bits, really.
Right.
But this is the lay shaft in the gearbox. So this actually, you know, when you put your foot down, it's those two things that have been causing the noise. That play on the shaft and the teeth being gone.
Well, that presumably was slightly out of line or something with, I don't know, would it have
It's just pressure. Once it starts to wear through the hardening, it all happens quite quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
As I say, I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
You know. It's...
yeah, sorry. So all the other gears are fitting on there, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Aren't they?
Yes.
So they're...
There you go.
And what is the... is that off the clutch there? Is that the shaft? Oh, I can't.
No,
that's the other one. Right.
That's the input.
Oh,
shaft
there we are. That's so the engine's coming here. So it's the next one where all the gears are.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yeah. So that bearing fits in there. Yeah. That face marries up to that.
Okay.
Actually.
Gosh. Yeah. So you're looking to see if Lamborghini can actually supply said part first.
Yeah. If they can't, we can have them made.
Yeah.
And they're. I mean, everything's relative, but they're surprisingly reasonable to get these bits done.
The definition of reasonable does vary when you're sitting surrounded by Lamborghini Miuras and things like that. And, yeah, so what do you, I know this will come out in a future video, well, what is vaguely reasonable for a shaft?
I would expect that, the gear wheel, and that to be probably under £1,000 each.
Really? That's amazing. That's a lot of work, isn't it?
It is a lot of work.
To do, gosh.
But it might be, if they are available, they might charge a bit more, but it's the convenience factor.
Yeah.
You know.
And yeah, you sort of know they're going to fit, as it were.
Yeah.
Well.
They're the engine mountings, which we polished up as well.
Don't recognise them now, they're off someone else's car, those. And everything plated up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your alternator drive.
No, someone else's car. Yeah, that's not mine at all. Well, thank you for explaining it, and it's like being with a doctor and sort of, got some bad news said.
Yes.
I haven't sat down even, so yeah.
No, and I haven't been rubbing my hands.
No.
So it's
well, gearboxes, I mean, there it is. At least there's not 12 of them. Things, it's a sort of one part there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for explaining it, and thank you for getting this far and finding out what the noise was.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I can't wait to have it won't be a quarter, but without that horrid noise, shall we say. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was not,
It was time.
Yeah, it was definitely time, and especially those teeth would have broken off fairly shortly as well, wouldn't they? Well. There you go. Well, thanks very much, Ian. That's great. Yeah. And, well, there you go. That's what's been happening in Tyrrell's. You saw it at the same time as I did. I didn't know what was wrong with that gearbox. I'm amazed if the cost for those shafts is that, but let's see. Ian's done this sort of thing before. But it's great to actually know what the problem is, 2 major components, and they are replaceable. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, well, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon.
I don't know what oil's in it actually either. Oh gosh, that noise. Oh.
Well, it's always had that noise. That singing. That canary sing.
Yeah.
That one. That's been since I've owned it.
Right.
But getting worse. And it's particularly bad if I put it into 5th.
Yeah. I don't like that one bit.